Yo, what is going on, everybody? Appreciate everybody that's tuning in. Today, we're going to be talking about the restoration of the Snyderverse and how things are looking and all the speculation that's going around. So, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe. If you've already done so, thank you so much. And drop your comments because I'm going to be looking at them and stuff like that. So, today's going to be a good show, fun show. But at the same time, we have to look at the realistic side of the things and what this business is all about, because of course this is a business, and in the end, you know there's a company that they're just trying to make money, and we have to respect that because that's how this industry is in the end. And we'll see what's going to come from it all. In the end, what we just want is just the restoration of the Snyderverse. That's all. After that, they could do whatever the hell they want to do. I wouldn't care anymore. I'll be like, yo, as long as I get the proper conclusion and see what Zack Snyder wanted to give us before, all this screw up and everything that the studio themselves brought upon themselves, then I am good. I would be okay to finally move on. But until that doesn't happen, we had to keep on fighting. So, yeah, we got to get Gunn out of here. We got to get him out ASAP, and it's gonna happen. Mark my words, it's going to happen. There's no doubt about that. You see a lot of people are talking everywhere. Everybody's speculating right now. It's wonderful to see it, but at the same time, like I said, we have to see, the real business side of all this in this industry, and with the way that things are going and how everything is shaping up right now and stuff like that. So bear with me if you hear me cough because I'm getting sick again. It's that time of the year, flu season. I mean, we're entering what is it? Winter. So you all know how that goes, man. So it is what it is. I'm starting to get sick again, and whatever. Here I am. So I've been taking medicine and all that stuff. So let's talk about this. All right. When we're seeing everyone everywhere right now talking about the Snyderverse and everything that has to do with DC, there's more excitement and there is more attention with Zack Snyder, and there's so many posts, everything is right now just it continues to trend. We just recently had the trending event, and that's just growing by the day, by the week, by the month, and now it's growing by the year. So every time more and more starting to people are starting to find out, and people just want the Snyderverse. They just want the proper conclusion, and people do not want to eat up what James Gunn has been serving. And James Gunn has been quiet. He has not been saying anything. He has not been acknowledging anything, and it's hilarious to see how what he's doing right now in the sense of you know like nobody cares about his DCU. Nobody. It's unfortunately that's what the studio brought upon themselves. They wanted to move forward with James Gunn. They wanted to move forward and away from the Snyderverse. They wanted to move forward with this reboot that I don't even consider it a reboot anymore. I just consider it a mess. It's a complete total mess. And because James Gunn doesn't even know, he completely he wants to move away from the DCEU, but then he wants to take things from it. Then he wants to retcon things. It just, dude, just make it make sense. Just make it make sense. That's all. And we told you from the beginning, you could have done so many things, but you just refused to. And thanks to your ego, you brought this upon yourselves, and you brought this upon the studio. That literally they're going up for sale. All right, so let's talk about this whole sale and everything that's going on and stuff like that, because that's something that a lot of people are talking right now. But at the same time, my friends, there's a lot of speculation going on right now, and we cannot believe everything that we're hearing on the internet. Straight up, we just cannot. Don't fall for the traps, like I've been telling y'all. Don't fall for the lies. It's just so many things that are going on right now, and of course, you have so many quote unquote sources that are coming out, but they're not really legit. They're just making things up because, of course, they're just doing it for clickbait. They're just trying to get, trying to ride the wave of fame. And, it is what it is. This is how showbiz is and stuff like that. So, first things first, let's look at the stocks. How were the stocks for WB today? They closed at $24.54. Okay, it went down 0.12%. That's not much. It just barely went down. So they're struggling still. But now this is something that I do want to talk about struggling and these numbers and all this stuff, because look, I'm gonna be real with y'all. And you notice that I haven't really been putting a lot of videos, on this topic, just because everything is just speculation right now. I'd rather do a live stream with y'all and talk directly and just put it out here, because there's just so much speculation on sources everything that has to do with he said, she said, this is what they're thinking, this is what it might be. Things are just changing constantly, left and right. Nothing is officially confirmed. All right, nothing. We do know that Netflix, Comcast, and Paramount are increasing the bids and they're trying to make a big cash offer. That we do know because that's what we're hearing. And, that's the only thing that's officially confirmed from all these sources because, of course, word gets around and stuff like that. But notice what none of us are hearing. You don't hear Cosmic Book News saying the following. You don't hear these other like accounts and all these other channels talking about what I'm about to tell you right now. And let's be real, nobody is talking about how much are they all willing to put down. We do know that Paramount, when they got rejected at the time, offered $60 billion. That we do know. So we also know that David Zaslav wants $30 a share. I'm going to talk about that. I want to break some things down. And again, I want us to see realistically, what does this mean? What do these numbers, represent? What can all of this bring from all this? I'm going to be honest with you. Right now, everything is up in the air. All right. Nobody, absolutely nobody, not me, no other channel can tell you that this is the company that has officially acquired it. Wrong. Nobody. Nobody knows if it's Netflix, if it's Comcast, or if it's Paramount. All right. We do see that Paramount's trying to toot their own horn and trying to get in front. Why? Because they literally are going and talking to, I guess different directors and stuff like that. And we know that there's this director, I can't remember his name right now, but the dude that's doing the new Resident Evil movie, um, you know, the people from Paramount are talking to him as if they already bought it. So it's like, yo, we don't even know what your counter offer is. Nobody has officially said from WB, hey, it's already, you're the new owners and stuff like that. No, nobody. We don't even know how much are they even counter offering. What's this cash amount? If there's so many, oh, my sources told me, then have your sources told you how much are the counter offers? I want to know, as the audience, as the customer, consumer, fan, all that stuff, how much is Netflix willing to put cash up front? How much is Paramount willing to put cash up front besides the $60 billion that they got turned down the first time? And I want to know how much Comcast has put. We don't know. See what I'm saying? Nobody knows. All this news that's floating around and everybody's just taking, they're just rewording it. Literally, that's what everybody's doing, just rewording it. All right. Like I told y'all the other day, a lot of things can come from this. All right. There's a lot of things that are coming, and things are honestly just changing, and they're changing constantly. And nothing is for sure. They can say one thing right now, and minutes later or seconds later or hours later, probably hell, months, weeks, who knows, things change, right? So when you have that happening, what is that telling you? Okay, this is what's going on, this is what's floating. I mean, nothing is in solid, concrete, if you want to say, but just know that whatever's happening, something big is happening. All right. You have all these James Gunn cultists, all of these shills out here. They are straight up losing their mind. They are jumping backwards. They're doing polls upon polls and trying to prove that, the Snyder fans are the minority, but in reality, we out surpass their own polls. So what is that telling you? That they're being proven wrong. All right. Look, I told y'all the other day, what can come from this sale? Look, a lot of things can come from this sale. All right. Look, let's look at this realistically. All right. None of us know who David Zaslav is actually interested in selling to. We don't even know he's really going to sell in the end because he could just change his mind last minute. I told y'all the other day, in the end, if David Zaslav is trying to pull a little, showbiz stunt in the sense of, hey, okay, this can change because look at their stocks at $24.54. They're literally like what, $6 away from reaching the number that he wants. David Zaslav wants $30 a share. And if it reaches on their own with all of this commotion and everybody that's talking about right now, Netflix and Comcast and Paramount, the sale, this and that, that's helping them. That's literally giving them free advertisement because all eyes, including the investors, everybody's right now talking about this. So what is that going to do to the market? It's going to increase it. It's just like when, unfortunately, when bad times are here, what do they do whenever there's, I don't know your area, but I'm in Florida, and whenever there's a hurricane getting close, guess what happens? They raise the price on gas. The whole state decides, even if you live like up north, they just decide, hey, there's a hurricane, let's raise the price. Why? Because supply and demand. That's why. All right. And if you're in business, you know about that. That's what business is about, supply and demand. This is the same situation. David Zaslav might be playing with all of us. WB might be playing with all of us, right? How, you might ask? Very simple. In the end, David Zaslav might not even sell. Have y'all really thought about that? Yes, I hear so many things here and there, but we haven't heard how much are they willing to completely make an offer for. You know, we don't know the numbers that they're willing to spend besides what we've already heard that's been turned down. That's the part that we have to keep an eye on. And if David Zaslav sees that on their own, right? Let's just say on their own, they're like, hey, we're about to reach $30 a share, then we're good. We don't need to sell because now he's going to lift his own, ego, and he's going to be like, we did that. We made this happen and we didn't even have to sell because that's what the numbers that he wants. He wants $30 per share and they're almost there. All right. The only reason the stocks are going up for WB is because all of the commotion and everybody that's making videos right now, whether it's good or bad, everybody's talking about this sale. All right. And that's the part that a lot of people are overlooking. We're so distracted looking at this sale and we're not really paying attention. All right, everybody's willing to buy, but how much are they willing to buy? I want to know. If I was in there, I'll be like, I want to know how much this company is willing to put out. Okay, you're making a cash offer. How many trucks of money are you bringing? How about you? How many trucks and boats of money you're bringing to this cash offer? That's what I want to know. And we're not hearing that. Notice that we are not hearing any of that from any of these companies. See what I'm saying? And then when you have now, all of a sudden, when you have the people of Paramount jumping literally ahead of themselves saying and talking to this other director and saying, hey, pitch us some ideas. Yo, slow your horses. You haven't even bought it yet. We don't even know if your offer got accepted. And now we're hearing that Paramount is throwing a fit because they're like, oh, WB is favoring more towards Netflix. Well, maybe if you step up your game and offer more money, then they'll be on your favor. Because in the end, money money is what makes everything move. Honestly, let's be real, and that's what David Zaslav wants. And I understand as a business person, when it comes to that, you have to make your money and you got to get your money. So it is what it is when it comes to that. All right. We are seeing so many things that DC are doing right now. They're trying to pull all type of stunts to get people's attentions, and it's working. It is working. Look, now that you bring up this whole thing with Scarlett Johansson playing in the Batman 2, look, I'm gonna be honest with you. DC loves to pick up Marvel's sloppy seconds. I love Scarlett Johansson as an actress. I loved her in Jurassic World Rebirth. I like her work. She was good as Black Widow in the MCU, but let's be real. You're once again doing the same nonsense that you did with Joss Whedon. That was from Marvel. You're doing the same nonsense with now James Gunn. That's not working for you. See what I'm saying? And then we already seen that James Gunn brought in his people from what is it, the Guardians of the Galaxy. So what are you seeing the pattern? Are you seeing the pattern? That's what I'm trying to tell everybody. Wake up and see the pattern. WB is so desperate that they still haven't changed. And if they haven't changed by doing and hearing these rumors that we're hearing, what is that telling you? That they have not learned from their lesson. And if they're willing to go that far to do that, imagine what else they're willing to do. They could just last minute before, like I told y'all, that big update, whatever it is, whether it's good or bad, whether it sells or it doesn't, it's going to shock everybody. It's going to shock everybody right now. And with the debt that WB has right now, no company is willing to take that high risk. They're not. They are not. It's a high debt that they have to get into. Who in their right mind will want to absorb a high debt instead of you seeing profits? And then before you see profits, it's going to take you a long time before you actually start seeing some money. That's what it all comes down to. This is all about money now, just typical corporate greed. But in the end, we're going to see what David Zasloff is going to do. I don't know if he's going to sell or he's going to back out last minute. Remember, this is why we heard right before Thanksgiving that we are supposed to hear an update. And then they said, what? We're going to push it to Monday, which was this Monday that just passed. And then all of a sudden, what happens? Oh, we're going to push it and we're reviewing it because we're waiting for some sweeter, offers. Hold on. That just sounds to me like greed. Like you just want more money on top of what they're already giving you. That's clearly what it is. But it's showbiz. This is what happens, But in the end, we're going to see and we're going to find out exactly what's going to be the outcome of all of this. We want it to sell. We want it to sell. The question is David Zaslav going to sell? Because I'm starting to see, hey, these stocks are starting to go up slowly. And, right? And if he decides to not sell or maybe sell a portion of the company, then we already know that they're just bullshitting everybody. Straight up. I'm be honest with you, Can he afford to risk that? No, he can't. Like I told y'all, it's best for business if David Zaslav sells. He has to sell at this point. But the question is he going to sell, and at what price is he willing to let go of Warner Brothers? Because he's trying to get, his bonus to be there guaranteed, even when he's not at WB anymore. That's what it's all coming down to. All right. And if David Zaslav, this is just me speculating, like I'm telling y'all, if David Zaslav is watching and seeing right now that his company is almost to where he wants it at $30 a share, it's literally almost there. It can get there. By here to Christmas, it can reach those numbers. All right. Don't think that it can't. It can, because of all this, talk and commotion everybody's talking about and stuff like that. So we're going to see. We're going to see what's going to happen as we get closer. Now, David Zaslav could last minute pull the stunt and say, hey, I'm not going to sell because we feel that we're in a financial situation better and we've reconsidered all offers, but we feel that right now is not the time. That could happen. That can seriously happen, And I don't want everybody's, hopes to be like, hey, you know what? This isn't what it was supposed to happen, but it could happen. That's what I'm saying. It could happen, Regardless, we have to keep on pushing. We have to keep on pushing. All of these, studios are aware that there's a big demand still for the Snyderverse. Look at what McFarlane Toys just posted. Another re-release of Ben Affleck's Batman with the armor suit. I think this version now is like the black version, just because we already have the gray one, and then we have the one with the scuffs. So you have the variant, you have the regular one, and then there's a 2-pack. So now we're getting it like in all black. So it looks pretty cool, like charcoal color, if you want to say. I mean, for the collector that really wants it, these things are going to sell out. They're going to sell out. I think they go up for pre-order tomorrow or something like that. So that's good. That's good. They're remilking the Snyderverse because that's the only thing they know how to do, because they know that it sells. They know that people want, the Snyderverse. So they're like, hey, especially now that it's completely going, everybody's talking about it. Of course, it's a hot topic. That's why. And they're like, you know what? Let's recapitalize on this again. And it's working. Let's be real. It's working for WB because, of course, they got to get profits from that. And, of course, for McFarlane Toys, In the end, like I said, we have to see what's going to come out. Because, yeah, the same. I'm waiting for official news. From here until the actual, done deal, I'm giving it to the 31st of this month just because I'm going to be extra patient. You get what I'm saying? I know a lot of us are impatient right now and we all want an update, and everybody's speculating. A lot of people are confused. A lot of people are just running with whatever update they're hearing. Yo, like it doesn't work like that. I get it. You want to know the updates. I do too. But we have to officially hear from the board or someone, a representative from Warner Brothers themselves, because everything is right now up in the air. Nobody knows for sure. Nobody can tell you, hey, this is what I just heard. Everything is, I just heard this and I heard that. That's all we're hearing. We're just hearing and repeating what other people are saying in this industry. Oh, word has it. Rumor has it. Oh, guess what's floating around? Oh, this is what my sources are telling me. Okay, but who's your sources and who's the sources of those sources? That's what I want to know. See what I'm saying? In the end, everybody's just right now trying to use the Snyderverse as clickbait. And we have to be careful with that, because everybody's just making all type of articles. There's videos that I've watched, literally, they put stuff with the Snyderverse, clickbait. They do it real good. And when you're hearing it, they're straight shills. They're straight shills because they know that people are watching these videos. That's why nobody's watching anything with James Gunn and his DCU. Nobody. But everybody's right now clicking on Snyderverse related type of topics and stuff like that, and talking about topics. Look at what happened today. All right, Gal Gadot, she posted what was it? Early, I think it was like a when they were rehearsing, or I guess when they were like getting the role for Batman and Wonder Woman, and then if you haven't seen it, it's all over social media right now. And she literally tagged Zack Snyder and thanked him and said 12 years ago, Zack Snyder casted her as Wonder Woman. Amazing, amazing. It's thanks to Zack that straight up Gal Gadot and her career has grown, because she's now, I think, like a producer, and I don't know, she's doing other stuff too. So that's good. Besides being in the Snyderverse, she was also in the Fast and the Furious and things like that. Many of us know her from there and stuff like that. So it's cool. It's cool to see that. So it's just telling you, it's just telling you that, hey, Gal Gadot has not moved on. She's letting us know, hey, it's an honor. I got casted. Yo, keep on making noise. That's how I take it. She didn't have to put that post, and Zach thanked her. He replied back. He was like, "Hey, thanks for tagging me on it." Yo, that's pretty awesome. What is that telling you? That both of them are in sync, meaning that they're both on the same page. They know what's up. They know how this industry is. They know exactly how it runs. So they're like, "Hey, might as well keep going." That to me is like, yo, you're telling us, the fans, I haven't moved on. Keep making noise. Isn't that what we heard also from some other actors and actresses, that they were like, hey, the power is in the fans. It is. And we're making this change. We're making this. And when I say we, I'm talking about you and everyone, including myself, all over the world. We're doing this. Honestly, this is going to happen. This Snyderverse is going to make a comeback. We're going to get more content from it. Now we're hearing also rumors that James Gunn's going to be out. That's for sure. We know he's going to be out. All right. And apparently Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi are going to be the ones that are in charge. Cool. That's how it should have been from the beginning. That's all we wanted. Leave them in charge. Let them do their thing. And we're going to support it 100%. Now, how and what they want to do, that's the question we do not know. Do they want to do it Elseworld? We don't know. Are they going to put it part of the Dark Label? I don't know. Nobody. Yesterday, I posted up a picture, all right, if you haven't seen it, and it shows you the DC logo, the current one, but it's in black and gray, all right? Pretty interesting. That picture, it came when I came across it from an account that apparently when you read their profile, it says it's a theater over in London. I don't know what this means. I have no idea, honestly. But all I know is that there's something that's going on. Something is for sure going on. And we just have to wait and see. But honestly, it's just changing. Everything is changing rapidly, and it's going to keep on changing until we actually have an official update from the studio. And most likely is going to be what's his name, David Zaslav. Yeah, the Justice is great. That's pretty cool. I mean, who knows what's going to come from it. And again, my friends, let's not sleep on what I've been telling you. Starting next month, all right, Comcast already comes into play over in the UK, I think, and Europe, regions of Europe, because they're going to finally get HBO Max over in that area. Could things be lining up for a massive return? And then they play the Snyderverse movie, of course, of Zack Snyder Justice League in those areas? Could be. It could be. There's so many, thoughts, speculations. There's so many things right now that people are just excited about. And I'm excited. I can't wait. I know for a fact that the Snyderverse is coming back. It's back already. It's just, I think they're waiting for the right moment to announce it or go about on it. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. From who and from where, nobody knows. Nobody knows. That's the thing. No one knows yet, but we're going to find out very soon. Because remember, David Zaslav said it. He's like, once we have, the right company that they want him to buy him out, if they sell, he's going to announce it. And like I've been telling y'all, if he doesn't sell it for whatever reason, just know, like I said, we're going to hear a big, massive update. I'm not telling you because my source told me or, I read this. No, it's called, I have common sense and I can see it from a business standpoint. If you look at it from an ego perspective, like David Zasloff and James Gunn, they're going to be like, you know what? I did this myself. We raised our stocks and we don't need to sell anymore because now we're where I wanted, $30 a share. That's his ego. You see what I'm saying? And he's going to be like, well, you know what? After seriously considering everybody, we want to thank you, but we're not selling anymore. That can happen too, my friends. That can happen. This is why I'm telling you. WB is shady, and the same regime that's in there are shady. So if they've done it with the movies, they've done it with the directors, you don't think that they could pull the same stunt on this sale? Of course they can. It's WB, David Zasloff we're talking about. That's what happens. That's what could happen also. That's what I'm telling you. Or another option could be he could just say, you know what, I'm gonna sell a portion of the company, because we already know right now that Netflix and Comcast, they're mainly interested. Well, no, I think Netflix is only interested with their streaming and their movie side. They don't care about the shows and all that stuff. So I guess the plan is that they want to sell all that off once they buy it and things like that. And we know that both Paramount and Comcast want to buy all of WB, not just their streaming side. They want to buy everything. Like they are coming after the whole company of WB. And that would be good for business. What's going to happen? We do not know, honestly. That's the part that none of us know. And when we're hearing these rumors, oh, you see, Netflix is buying them. Netflix is the one that's the up runner and the front runner. And then all of a sudden now things have changed. Oh, now Paramount. Hell, Paramount's the one that's the front runner and this and that. How the tables changed within a few hours, right? And you see that. That's all speculation and rumors that we're hearing right now. That's the same way that things could change all of a sudden. And once it does sell, if it sells, then guess what? They could pull the plug just like that on James Gunn's DCU. They could be like, hey, you know what? Yeah, we're not moving forward with this, and we're going back with Zach because we know that that's what's working. We've already done the statistics, we've done, all the polls, and it's already proven the Snyderverse and the fans are the majority. So it could happen. It could happen. We don't know. This is going to take so many courses that none of us, that's what I'm telling you. I can't tell you, hey, this is what's going to happen. I can't because I don't know. See what I'm saying? So when you have, I guess other YouTubers and articles coming out saying, hey, my source is telling me. Yeah, guess what? I can make it up too and tell y'all, hey, guess what? Breaking news. My sources just told me this, and I could just straight up give you clickbait. But I don't do that. I don't do that. See what I'm saying? Because first, I don't got no sources like that. I'm not gonna kid y'all. And if I do have the sources, I'll tell y'all straight up, look, this is where it's coming out of. We do know that Variety has put out, information here and there. But at the same time, things change. So when they put out updates and news and things like that, those things could just all of a sudden, hey, it's not what it is, constantly, because that's just how journalism and this whole, social media day and age works. It's just like that. In the end, we just know that something big is happening. Regardless, whatever it is, something big is happening, and I'm excited. I'm excited. I know for a fact that now that Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi are both in charge, they got a plan. I think we're gonna go back to where things left off, but they're gonna be changed. And I would love for Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi to both do and give James Gunn the VIP treatment, the same way that James Gunn, courtesy of James Gunn, that he retconned everything within the Snyderverse. He did it to the Flush. He did it to Aquaman 2. He did it to also the Suicide Squad. He did it in Peacemaker with the Justice League. So James Gunn, I want to thank you. You know why? Because you literally opened the door for all of this to literally get back dumped in your face. It's all coming back to you. You wanted to retcon everything within the Snyderverse. You did it. And now you're seeing your DCU crumble. Your DCU's falling apart. Nobody cares. You never built it on foundation. I made videos on that before James Gunn came on board, and many people laughed at me. A lot of people, my own subscribers, laughed at me. They called me, "Hey, that's not what's gonna happen. You're delusional, blah blah blah." Right? I didn't get the credit, and guess what? I don't care about the credit. What did James Gunn do? He did not build the DCU on solid foundation. He built his sandcastle on sand. And guess what? The tidal wave is about to hit. And what happens when you go to the beach and you see the tidal waves, wash on the shore? It completely knocks everything out of its path, right? That's exactly what's about to happen right now. James Gunn did that to the Snyderverse. He did that to the Snyder fans. He did that to us, the customer, the fan, the consumer, the audience, right? And guess what? Now the tables are turning. James Gunn is quiet. He's not saying anything. How come James Gunn isn't talking shit on the internet right now, huh? How come all the James Gunn shills are not talking shit right now, huh? They're all quiet, huh? They're all quiet. Slav tried to call me out on X. And yeah, I'm calling you out. You try to make me look ridiculous on X, right? And I flipped the script on you, bozo. Just like you, there's so many other fake channels out there. You call yourself sources. You call yourself that, yeah, you're a real a source. You ain't shit. Because I had to check you, and it's still there. And then you responded to me saying, oh, I don't know who you are and why you're responding. Clown, you called me out. See what I'm saying? That's how these James Gunn cultists are. They're the same ones that love to throw themselves down, and they like to play the victim. And then they say that you're the one that dropped them, when in reality, everybody's watching and laughing at them. That's exactly how they work. That's why I'm glad, because I told y'all the reason that Superman 2025 from James Gunn tanked was because all you James Gunn cultists were so focused and kept on talking only about Zack Snyder and the Snyderverse. You kept on glazing. And for that, we thank you, because you were so focused on us that you should have focused on your shitty James Gunn DCU Superman. And I'm glad that movie tanked. That movie flopped. It was a worldwide disaster. Complete disaster. This is why we're in this sale right now. Notice that. Nobody cares about Superman. Superman was a financial disaster. It literally is about to take WB into bankruptcy. I don't care what you say. That is the fact. When you have all these clowns out there trying to justify it constantly, all right? They constantly live in denial. They cannot accept the reality that we're winning. We've always been the majority, and we will stay like that. How come we don't see merchandise from the DCU doing crowdfundings? How come we don't see nothing from James Gunn? But you know what we do see from James Gunn Superman? All of that merchandise is in clearance. It's right now, as we speak, arriving and being delivered to Ross. Next stop is going to be Ollie's, and they're going to sit there and they won't sell. And then after that, they're going to have the same fate like Funko Pops. They end up in the landfill where nobody wants them. And look at what happened to Funko. They're about to shut down. That's what WB is on the edge. And that's why, honestly, that's why this is what WB brought to themselves. Not us. You can't blame us. We're the audience. We're the ones that support and we buy. Now, if you don't want to give us what we want, guess what? Starting with Birds of Prey. Oh, you didn't want to give us a Joker with Jared Leto and with Margot Robbie that we were supposed to get, right? Remember that? We were supposed to get a standalone film with that. Instead, you gave us that woke bullshit of Birds of Prey. That moment is when we, the customers, came together and symbolically, but literally, we started keeping our wallets closed. And then the pandemic struck, because that was in 2020. In 2020, to this day, December 4th, 2025, look at where WB is at. We've made that happen. We've been doing that. You want to play around with our products and you want to go ahead and not give us what we want? Guess what? We're going to keep our wallets closed. And since then, if you don't give us what we want, we will continue to keep our wallets closed. And that's exactly where we are right now. Everything that you keep on putting out, is not working. You thought you had a banger with Minecraft. You were almost there. You were almost there, WB. You were about to reach $1 billion, but you didn't. You didn't. Guess what? Superman. Superman 2025 was supposed to be your biggest. Oh, it's a reboot. We're rebooting everything. We're doing this and we're getting away from the Snyderverse. What didn't we have to hear and endure from all these clowns? That's right. All that toxic, negative saying, right? And guess what? Now that the numbers are out, I thought James Gunn's Superman was supposed to make $1 billion. What happened? What happened? You had 12 years to work on that. And guess what? You failed. That's the reality. You failed. Nobody cares about it. That's the difference. See what I'm saying? You wanted that, you got it. And in the end, hey, people are not buying it. People are not buying it. Your movie came out on streaming, and on the same week, a few days later, you dropped the price. What happened? $29.99 to $9.99? Wow, that's a big price drop. Meanwhile, guess what? Guess what the movie of the summer was? Remember I told y'all Jurassic World Rebirth was going to stomp and crush the box office. And did it not do that? Of course it did. It was about to reach $1 billion. It was in the high 900 millions or something like that. What is that telling you? And Superman, oh, but Superman stole the summer. Oh, Superman, oh, they were so successful. 600 and something million. That's it. That's it. You struggled to make that in what, your 80 something days in the theaters? Yeah. Yeah, I think it's already proven. People know what's up. People are tired of all of this. It's exhausting. It's literally exhausting. People just don't care about what James Gunn's putting out. They just don't. This is not Marvel. This is not the MCU. But again, the executives at WB think and they still feel that this is what this is. Oh, this is still Disney. No, it's not. This is DC. It's always been dark. It's always been gritty. It's always been on the serious tone. Less jokes, more seriousness. Oh, but I don't want Batman killing. I don't want a depressing Superman that he's fighting and standing for righteousness. I want a happy Superman, right? That's what these James Gunn clowns want. They want that silliness. They prefer orgy scene, right? Of everything. Oh, it doesn't matter because that's what they support. That's the type of crowd they go after. The alphabet crowd. If you don't get that, I don't know what to tell you. But I'm literally speaking to you in code. That's what the James Gunn crowd are all about. You have to push the alphabet in order to get supported by them. And even they're not showing up. Even they're not showing up. Remember all the memes that were floating around with the empty theaters of Superman? And then you see the what do you call it? The Dragon Ball that they're like, oh, let's fight somewhere empty. And then they use the movie theaters. You see what's his name? Vegeta and Goku fighting in an empty theater. That's exactly what happened. And guess what? That's exactly what's going to happen to Supergirl next. Now you have all these shows again putting everything in their hope, and they're saying, "Oh, Supergirl. Oh, the budget is 200 million," and they're gonna deny that too. James Gunn's already coming out saying, "No, it's not. No, it's not." Come on, let's be real. You really think that they're gonna give James Gunn another $500 million to invest on Supergirl? You have to be financially insane. That has to be financially insane. And if they give it, guess what? They're not even gonna make half of that back. They're just not. This is why they're starting to already start their marketing. Their fake marketing. Oh, it's only 200 million. So when it comes out next year, oh, it made 350. You see, it surpassed the numbers. Damn, hold on. If that happens, Superman was 500 million. So we're gonna lower the standards even more by another 200 million. Wow. I cannot wait to hear all the lame excuses from all of the James Gunn clowns that are out here. Honestly, because that's all they do. They always have an excuse for everything. It's insane. It is insane. And I can't wait. I cannot wait to see what's going to happen from everything that's coming literally down the pipe. From, this whole reboot and DC and whatever the hell they're trying to do. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Exactly. Look at what happened to Star Wars. They got canceled after one season for being too woke. And that's what James Gunn pushes. He loves to push that. That's exactly what he does. Andrew, thank you. I appreciate that. You notice the majority of people who love Gunn's universe are liberal soy weirdos. That's all they are. That's exactly the crowd that he caters to. You know, as long as they use pronouns, they are all there. Those are the Superman 2025 fans. And I'm glad that that era is done. It's over. Literally, it's over. This is why you're seeing ads returning back to normal again. Hot, beautiful women, because sex sells. That's business. That's what sells. You don't believe me? Look at how what these ads with Sydney Sweeney. They're selling. They're selling. How come they weren't selling before? Oh, because they were pushing woke and race swapping and agendas, and those things were overpriced and nobody wanted them. And now they're not even on the shelves. Why? Because people are coming back to their senses. And the same thing is happening to these movies. People just want good entertainment. That's what it is. When you have all of this, that's what people want. Entertainment. That's the main word, entertainment. You're here watching this. You hear me watching. You're watching me talk, ranting. Some might call. I'm just here, yo. I'm bringing you what's going on right now. Like, I not everybody has to see my same point of view, but we're here, and this is all part of entertainment, you know? And for that, I thank you. And that's the thing with this industry. This industry doesn't care about entertainment. They only care about the alphabet. What color of, what side do you pick? Do you identify with this or that? I don't care about that. I want to see these characters in their world. I want to see dinosaurs eating humans and fighting each other. I want to see Terminator robots shooting each other, doing what they have to do to save the world. I want to see Star Wars, spaceships, all this galaxy stuff, and take my imagination. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see my characters that I grew up telling me, hey, you know what? Here's a PSA, public service announcement. This is what you should do, and you should be. Yo, I don't care. I'm just not interested. You know, GI Joe tried doing that back in the days, but it wasn't like how it is today. I use that as an example because they were more like, they would like educate us and stuff. Now it's a mess. It's a mess, honestly, and that's the difference. But when you have, unfortunately, all of this shill media influence, if you want to call it, corrupting literally our entertainment, that's why everything is down the toilet. People just want good quality. When you give people quality, people are going to keep on coming back. That's it. People just want good movies. That's what it is. People are tired of watching these movies, and you have to represent, or you have to identify, or you have to, I don't care. I really don't. Majority of us, we do not care. We do not care, honestly. Look, I see your comment. That's why they like Ezra Miller. Exactly. Look, a lot of people don't like Ezra Miller. It is what it is. I liked him as the Flash. I want him back as the Flash. If that offended you, deal with it. I want him back for continuity. That's it. That's it. That's all I care about. I don't care what they do in their spare time. I don't care what they do, in their personal time off. Not my problem. I'm not there. It's not hurting or it's not benefiting me. A lot of people tend to forget that. That's the thing. Oh, but this and that. It's not about that, honestly. Let's just focus on the fact that we want good entertainment. That's it. It's crazy. It is completely crazy. Hold on. All right, so I see we have infamous. I see you're back again, huh? Guess what, clown? Now you got banned for good. Go ahead, bring your other fake account. I'll keep on banning you, clown. I'm telling you, honestly. Let's see. Yeah, let's keep on going because I'm telling you, these clowns are always. Imagine that was James Gunn with that account. That would be hilarious. Yep, Black Adam made more views than James Gunn's Superman. I agree with you. That tells you everything. That is a fact, my friend. That completely is a fact. Black Adam made more views than James Gunn's Superman. That tells you everything. Suck it, James Gunn cultists. Suck it. Straight up. You don't like it? Deal with it. That's the facts. That is the facts. Look, in the end, honestly, WB, they just need to get back to what was working. And that's giving good quality. When you give good quality and good entertainment, Then you have your consumer, you have your customer, you have your loyal fan base. Everybody's back. Straight up. The moment that WB, if they sell or if they don't, let's just hope that they do. But the moment that they announce, hey, we're getting Zack Snyder back and the Snyderverse is back, it's over, baby. It's over. I'm telling you, that's it. It's a done deal. And WB is about to start making money again. DC is about to be at the top of the throne. And guess who's worried? Not the James Gunn cultists, Disney and Marvel. Kevin Feige must be sweating nervously with this whole buyout. He must be every day literally thinking, if this sells, we're in trouble. We're done. Because once Zach is back and the DCEU returns, guess what? It's over for Marvel. And it's not going to be good. It's over, as in game over, baby. It's going to be game over. You can't start over. You're done. Get out of the industry. That's what it's coming to, honestly. That's exactly what this is coming to. And I can't wait. Gunn said that Peacemaker is linked to Superman 2025. Superman's a family film, and Peacemaker is obligatory, a big orgy scene. So inconsistent. Exactly. Make it make sense. Exactly. I agree with you. Make it make sense. I agree with you, Andrew. Thank you also. It's wild. It's wild. So you want to kick off. Let's look at this. Let's analyze this now that we're seeing this comment real quick. Just to put it in perspective, right? So this is how confusing it is. You start off your DCU animated. That's a first red flag. You're starting a whole reboot animated. All right. It's R rated. That's a second red flag. And then after that, you're moving to a Superman, Gods and Monsters, or whatever you want to call it. Okay. But you're already throwing Superman in the middle without explaining and introducing everybody to his character. Oh, the story's already been done. We don't need to see it. Not all of us. Not everyone knows the story. Another red flag. And then you want to move away from that and you want to go into Peacemaker. And then in Peacemaker, you want to retcon things. But hold on. Peacemaker was introduced in the Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad's part while it was still under the DCEU. And then now you're trying to take that away with certain characters like Amanda Waller and whatever it is you're trying to do with Rick Flag Jr. He made a cameo. He wasn't supposed to make a cameo. I mean, they're all lying here at this point. See what I'm saying? And then what? Oh, but this is going to be retcon. Hold on. So you're going to retcon the Justice League. You're going to bring it in and replace it with the Justice Squad. I mean, the Justice Gang. What? You see how confusing that is? That's exactly what James Gunn brings to the table. And nobody's buying it. And then season 2 of Peacemaker, you're going to start it off by retconning what Snyder already built. But I thought Snyder was your friend. I thought that was your friend, James Gunn. I know I don't screw over my friends. Friends don't screw friends over. They help each other. That doesn't add up. Seems to me like you're lying to us as usual. And guess what? You start your second season with an orgy. Nobody's interested in that. The list continues and nothing is working. It continually keeps on turning into a mess. And I'm excited to see the mess that he's caused. Now, look, let's speculate something also, honestly. Look, let's be real. There could something really be happening. Because why is all of a sudden James Gunn retconning things? Maybe somebody told him, hey, you need to start fixing this now. Because rumor has it that there's a big change coming. There's a big shakeup. Maybe Mike DeLuca told him, hey, you better get your things together. You never know. You never know. Honestly, I'm telling you. I'm telling you straight up. This, oh, he's back. He's back. Oh, okay. Is this clown right here, right? Hold on. I'm banning him right now. There. I just banned him. Yeah, he has a few other accounts, so I just saw it right now. I just finished blocking him. I hope that was the one. Let me know if that was the one. So yeah, look, when it all comes down to it, that's why they're triggered. That one person is triggered. That would be hilarious if that was literally James Gunn right there. That would be amazing. Thank you. Look, honestly, it's like, yo, it's yeah. This is how these James Gunn fans are. They're all sick in the head. They are. They're complete sickos, honestly. Um, yeah, it's wild. It's wild. Look, the point is that nothing with James Gunn is working. We know Snyderverse is going to come back. Why is James Gunn retconning things? Did somebody tell him, "Hey, you need to straight up fix this because your time is straight up running out." So, you know, maybe he has to. Maybe he's being forced to do this. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is that things are changing, and he has to be out ASAP. He has to. James Gunn is no longer working at WB in the sense of he's putting out movies that people want. No, it's just not. WB knows it by now. Notice Pam Abdi's contract and Mike DeLuca have been renewed. James Gunn and Peter Safran, how come we're not hearing anything? And their contracts are due November 1st, 2026. That's for sure. November 1st, 2026. I'm telling you, things are going to change. Things are going to change, my friends. And that's all what's coming from this. This sale it has WB in a situation where like, yo, people are talking about you again for the good, but get it together. Seriously, get it together. Now, this is another chance to redeem yourselves. And WB needs to get their act together. If they don't sell, they seriously need to get their act together. And I think something big is going to happen with Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi. Remember, they fought for us. And remember, this is another thing too. They stopped following James Gunn recently. Right after Superman, they stopped following him. Remember, a few people were talking about that. Not a lot of people talked about it. I remember putting some posts and stuff. They unfollowed James Gunn. What is that telling you? Yo, it looks like to me like Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi have more power and more authority than James Gunn. James Gunn's not coming out. And when he's on that interview with Boba Talks or whatever they're called, he was straight up nervous. He knows. James Gunn knows that something is coming. He knows that the restoration is near. He knows that he can't prevent it. You had your chance. You literally had your chance. You should have released the air cut while you were in power. You should have ended the Snyderverse while you were in power. You should have never done what you did while you're in power. Now you're going to look back, and this is where your legacy is going to be a joke, a complete joke. And I can't wait. I seriously cannot wait to see how all of this is going to end. It's going to benefit us and it's going to, help us in the long run and stuff like that. But for James Gunn, he's cooked. He's done. It's over. He might as well start putting his job application at Marvel again. Call Feige. That's your BFF. Call him and tell him, hey, yeah, work on the next Star Lord and Guardians and whatever it is that you're trying to do. Because I'm telling y'all right now, we are about to see Zack Snyder's Justice League released worldwide theatrically. I'm telling you, this is what I see happening. I don't need no sources for what I'm seeing right now. I'm telling you right now, we're about to see worldwide Zack Snyder's Justice League released like it was supposed to be, to build all this hype, to build the excitement and everything. And then we're also going to see the announcement of Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3. That's what's going to go up against Marvel's Avengers, Doomsday, and Secret Wars. Because look, we're supposed to be getting a trailer for Doomsday this month. What is that telling you? They're preparing. They're getting ready for the next year, 2027, that it's supposed to be releasing, or 26. I don't know, something like that. I think it's 26, December or something like that, a year from now. Whatever. The point is that Marvel's getting their act together. Say what you want about the MCU, whatever. Marvel with the Avengers, that's $1 billion IP. Whatever it is, it's $1 billion IP. That's for sure. We know that. That's for sure. Because you have everybody in there. All right. They're not going to screw that up. And then when you have Secret Wars right around the corner, what do you think is going to go up against that? The Justice Gang? James Gunn's Superman? That's a joke. Hell no. It has to be something serious on a more serious industry threat. What is that? Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3. Because you have Darkseid. Darkseid is the only one above the level of Thanos. See what I'm saying? And this is what I'm telling you. I don't need sources to tell you what's plain and obvious. And then what's funny is that you see Cosmic Book News, you see all these other shows. My sources told me that Marvel's gearing up because Zack Snyder is going to return. And my sources tell me that they want to go with this big MCU versus DCU. See what I'm saying? You see how I just made that up? That's exactly how anybody can make whatever I say and put it out there. I'm telling you, I don't need sources. I see this happening. Common sense tells you. If you think like a business person and you think like a filmmaker, how do you go up against the Avengers? Simple. bring Zack Snyder back, bring David Ayer back, bring them in together, do what he wanted to do. What was Crisis or whatever it's called, Infinite? I don't know. I can never keep up with that. And Zack Snyder's Justice League, boom, that's it. That's how you go up against the Avengers 2 and 3. Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3 against Doomsday and Secret Wars. That's how you do it. That is your formula right there, Warner Brothers, DC. Wake up. That's your formula right there. That is going to be insane. You imagine how the internet will be literally losing their mind. All the shills will be literally jumping around. They wouldn't even know which way to freaking flip just because it's just too big. They wouldn't know. And Disney and Marvel would be like, yo, all right, now this is back again, Marvel versus DC. I'm telling you, something big is coming. Something big is around the corner. And in the end, I'm telling you right now, this is going to be massive for the Snyderverse. The win for us is very, very near again. The victory on our side, just like we got the Snyder cut, is right around the corner. I'm telling you. This is not a coincidence of all these things. When you have, Zach posting these pictures, the actors, the actresses, you have also producers, you have music composers. Yo, this smells to me like they're restoring something. It's not a coincidence. Maybe a picture here every so often. All right, then yeah. But yo, this is dropping constantly. And as we keep on building up to the end of the year, as this sales happening, yeah, this is not a coincidence, my friends. I'm telling you, this is for sure, for sure. You know, it's taking place. Yeah, Gal posted something today acknowledging with Zach, that he had casted her 12 years ago as Wonder Woman. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And Zach responded back saying thanks. So that's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome to see, how all of this is it's building up, it's connecting, and the pieces are starting to line up, my friends. Don't lose faith, don't lose hope. Most of all, we have to have a lot of endurance, and a lot of patience. I told y'all this is not going to happen overnight. I've been telling y'all for a while. We have to have endurance. Endurance is going to build patience, and we're going to be able to very soon say, hey, we're getting our tickets to go see theatrically Zack Snyder's Justice League 1, 2, and 3. With that being said, my friends, I want to thank y'all for tuning in. And I'm going to catch y'all on the next time. Restore the Snyderverse, and peace out.